Shall we pray? Gracious and loving God, we thank you for the beauty of your creation. We thank you for the men and women that serve in this community, our firefighters, our police officers, our EMTs. We thank you for our council and all the work that they do to keep our city safe. We pray, God, that you bless their deliberations this evening. We pray this in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we will start off with the approval of the minutes of the last meeting. Motion. Have a motion, we have a second?
Yes.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, committee reports. Chamber.
She's not here.
Okay. Finance.
I can give you some numbers for the month of June. All our sales tax numbers came in higher other than the use tax. There was a big drop there. Sales tax 1 came in at $138,709, which was up $3,003. Sales tax 2 was $138,596, up $28,091. Capital improvements was $34,677, an increase of $751. The use tax came in at $16,214, which was $18,000 less than last year. I don't know if there's a mistake there. I had a lot of online.
Everybody's shopping local.
You may be right. Transportation tax came in at $69,298, up $14.45. And stormwater senior services, $69,164, up $15.13. So overall, we saw a decrease of about $10,000 with the use tax being down. Starting our new fiscal year, so we'll keep monitoring the numbers and we'll keep you posted.
Thank you. Fire. Nothing at this time. Human Resources.
I don't have anything for the public at this time.
Humane Department.
Nor do I have anything at this moment.
Police.
Everything's great at the police department.
Street.
Sure.
Of course.
We had our street meeting the other night, street department meeting. Let's just suffice it to say that the big truck that we've been waiting for, the street sweeper, is pretty much on the way, right?
Yeah, it's been ordered and hopefully next week. That's the plan.
Hopefully we'll see it cruising through the city doing what it's supposed to do. But we're gonna be continuing, the next couple of meetings are gonna be concerning what streets we're gonna do next year, the progression that we're gonna make through the city. I have a contract change order for the St. Francis Street project, and they have gone in and made several changes and several deductions on the project, and they have had a couple of additions as well. But overall, it's a decrease of $18,811, and I make a motion that we accept this contract change.
I'll second that.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
There you go. Motion passes.
I think we'll leave the rest of it for street department. Of the storm.
Storm?
Our next project for stormwater, we believe right now, is to get a new Barney. We believe that that may have had a small impact on some of the water that, the drainage issues. But that's a $400,000 expense. But we're gonna check that out. And the Stormwater Committee will be meeting in the not too distant future to look at how we can come up with that item. That's it.
Thank you. All right, department reports. Fire department. Paul, you change.
Good evening.
So in your enclosures there, you should find your monthly fire report, your code enforcement report, and property maintenance report for this last month. On the fire department side of things, we had 2 firework-related calls in July. Over that holiday week, we had 1 dumpster fire and 1 vehicle fire. And no medical calls were related to fireworks. So that's good. That's a plus there. The emergency management, we met. Paul and I met with the new state emergency management director over our region, Hank Voiker. We discussed upcoming training topics for not only Paul and myself, but also some of the department heads like Ms. Brenda and Ms. Leslie, in case of a disaster would happen and that type of thing. So there'll be some more to come on that venue in the future. The Mo crew, we now are up to 3 people. With the one that is still not working the whole 29 hours, but we are up to 3 people there. And there were some concerns on abatements of properties in town. That has been taken care of and is still in the process of being taken care of. That was kind of pushed off to get some of the other properties around town, like the right-of-ways coming in, cleaned up before we started that. However, I pulled Gerald off of that last week and had him get these abated properties done, get those cleaned up. So. On the code enforcement side of things, I had the privilege to go to a seminar today at Poplar Bluff over our floodplain management. The new floodplain maps is going to be coming out in the very near future. Kudos to Victor. Really, that probably needs to be an engineer doing all this, but it's very informative. Those map changes will be coming out sometime in the latter part of this year or early next year. One last thing that I do have, the Kent Firefighters Association is doing a raffle for Vicki Hamlin, who's the wife of Lieutenant Dennis Hamlin on the fire department. She has some medical issues, and if any of you all are interested in donating to that cause, you can see myself, Martin Ennis, or Paul Spain. There's several others that are selling tickets as well, but those are the ones that come off the top of my head. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Also, the Office of Emergency Management now has a Facebook page. If you go to Facebook, it's Lieutenant Office of Emergency Management. I believe that's what it is. We're working diligently to get our weather alerts on there for folks and any other type of weather-related incidents that may occur. Any questions?
No, sir.
What was that name again for Facebook? Kennett Office of Emergency Management.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Main department.
We have been really busy this first part of the month from from July the 1st until July 16th. We've already taken in 32 jobs. We returned 4 to their owners, and 27 was transferred to other rescues, mostly out of state. We currently have 24 on intake at the shelter right now, and all the medical needs and the health certificates for those dogs was provided by donations. So the city was out nothing on that.
How's it looking out there? How's it looking at the town?
We're working on
Except for the water.
vents of the water. We got a lot of water. A whole lot of water in the corner that can't do anything with that tool.
Is your new employee started?
Yes, and she's working out great. We've got her all the way trained, and it's been so much easier, and everything is going along real smooth as far as that goes. And we're working on some of the things that the ag had hit us on quite a while back. We just got that all taken care of. We'll have it done by the next council meeting. So we should be hopefully in good with it again.
Sounds good. Did you get your last situation on the land?
We didn't get any of that taken care of.
We will work on
That was the radio.
that. Radio? Okay. We'll stay on top of it.
But since we've had that done, we've been having a little bit of issues like with the van with electrical stuff. So I don't know.
With what? I couldn't hear you.
Electric.
We've had some problems with the van with electrical since they worked on putting the radio in that
Didn't,
doesn't work.
didn't the people in Perryville put that in?
Yes, sir.
You just need to send that back. You just need to send it over there.
Yeah.
Because we gotta get some lights on the back of it anyway, and then that radio too. So it's just, okay, what we gotta do is send it.
I'm sure they'll take care of it. Thank you.
Right.
Lay it back down there.
Just take it. Okay.
All right,
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Luis.
All right. Give you an update on the radios. Last time we talked about those. We got all the equipment in that we need to get the antennas moved. We're just waiting on City Light Gas and Water to have availability and the time to come over and move them for us. Hopefully that's going to happen soon. We also got a quote from Smith Radio in Fayetteville, Arkansas, with the Daniels repeater, sending somebody down here to do the necessary changes to eliminate the leak at Fire Station 2. It'll be about $1,510 to have this done. That includes their travel time and their labor. This is not a budgeted item, so we do have enough money in our radio repairs to take care of this, if the council's okay with that, to move forward with it, if we see the need. After we separate the antennas, that doesn't fix it, then we're going to do this project. So it's okay to just take the funds out of radio repairs. Up to $3,000. In your package, you also have the crime stat report from last month. Calls are up for a third month in a row. You can kind of see the warmer months usually we get a little bit busier. That's kind of normal for us. Since the last council meeting, we've had one radio operator quit. We've already started accepting applications. As of today, we had right at about 20 applications. So we're going to start going through those. Hopefully by the next council meeting, we'll have a candidate for that. We also had a police officer resign, go to another department. It's for more money. Councilman Tate, going to work for Project PD as chief. They gave him more money and offered him 100% health insurance. So it's kind of hard to turn that down. So it's a good deal for him. The two officers that we had to start the academy, they started yesterday. We'll continue to monitor their progress. This academy program is good. Almost every week I get somebody wanting to put an application. So probably next month or two, we'll start interviewing and then come back to the council about how many we want to try to put through the academy in January. I don't think we claim that far ahead, but we'll look at it. Also on a good note, our Christmas in July fundraiser is taking off. I'm very proud of how our community stepped up with a donation. Mayor Wayne has offered that if we got 500 yards of baby food, he would take a pie in the face on Facebook Live.
And it's official.
It is official as of today. We got it. And we still have 2 weeks left. That's a good
We need to move that number up.
Too late to back
It's too late now, so that's all right.
But there's been also other people step up to agree to do the same thing he has.
Like I like cherry or apple chocolate.
No, I'm not going to talk about that.
Whipped cream.
But also, our very own councilman, Marco Parr, has agreed to be tased.
Whoa!
I would pay $100.
Oh, yeah, exactly. How much are we, how much are we short?
Now, I did say that, but we have to work out the I mean, I can't do it for 10 packs of baby wipes.
150 packs of baby wipes, we got that too, and I think that was reached today.
Don't need that money.
Well, that's fine, I'll take the time twice, but we gotta come up with something really good if I'm gonna get paid. I mean, I'll do it.
I'd donate $100 to see that.
That's what I was saying, you know, 10 grand.
For real.
But it's a good thing. Our 911 communication team has done a really good job. Rachel Bowles has stepped up big time with this and organizing this. I'm very proud of the work she's doing. And it's all in good fun. And I do appreciate everybody stepping up and getting involved. Also, after the last council meeting, he wanted to find out about the speed trailers.
We got them both going, but we can't get either one of them to pick up speed. Talk to the company, try to get somebody to come down here and work on them, to see what's going on with them. Brand new, they're pricey. They're real pricey. Hopefully we can avoid that. Just the cost maybe of having somebody come down here and repair it will be cheaper than buying a new one. So we're gonna keep checking into
I
that.
think they're gonna stay busy.
Yeah, and it will be able to keep it busy. But meantime, maybe just don't get in a real big hurry about getting a new one, so we can figure out if we can fix
Right.
it.
Kind of came up with a plan of involving that and with the street, the counter, and,
Yeah, we've discussed
okay,
the trailer getting it fixed or something,
okay.
seeing what it costs to get it fixed before we do anything else.
All right. So
We've been getting
They're
together on
hoping
it.
about next
Sounds
council
great.
meeting, I'll know whether we can get them fixed or not.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
All right. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Mayor, council members, a little bit to talk about this time too. They are going to start on 3rd Street hopefully tomorrow. They've got the pipe in and the rain cut them back. They were gonna try to start Monday, but due to the rain, they didn't get a chance to. He says that when he starts, it should be about 30 days, weather permitting, to get the job done. Knuckle Brothers, they've got the Hopper and 3rd Street intersection done that they were doing for City Light and Water. And they poured some down at 9th and Slicer Street. They finished that up. They're getting ready to move to Clipper and Lester. And if the weather goes good, within the next month, maybe they'll be done with all the work they're gonna be doing on our concrete work this year. The asphalt crew is supposed to be in here tomorrow to start overlaying, finish overlaying the street. City Light Water got the risers in, so we're good to go on that. If the weather holds out, hopefully they'll get that done probably in the next 2 or 3 days. So we've got 5th Street and Sealing, a couple other streets that are a little bit rough right now. That I've had people call me and say they didn't do a very good job overlaying, but that was actually just a wedge to get ready to overlay it. So that should be finished up here pretty quick. Friday, July the 12th, I went to the township and talked to them. And one of the things we talked about was Ely Road. I've had several calls about Ely Road and a couple of potholes down there that were fairly large, and I did go look at them, they were fairly large. I went and talked to them about it, and we've come up with, most likely, the south side of the street belongs to the city, I think, and the north side of the street belongs to the county. But they're not really, they don't, I don't know, they don't see it 100% that way, but I agreed that we would fix the holes, the potholes on Ely Road. And the next topic of discussion was South Jackson Street, where apparently there's another small section there that's in the county, but they say they still think it was given to the city too. So I'm sure that if we look, that it'll be another one of those. The part that's all city is going to be the city, and I guess the couple of houses that are in the county is supposed to be the county. But they agreed to have 2 loads of clay gravel and 2 loads of chat delivered to the city for us to make a mix that we put on gravel roads. Alone, clay gravel is not that great, and chat's not that great, but we take the both. And some of our millings that we get from milling streets and put it together and makes a pretty good gravel road mix. So they agreed to buy 2 loads of each to be delivered to the street department for us to make some mix to put on there. I went back and talked to Mr. Rue this afternoon, and I think that in the future we'll may be able to get them to help out with a little bit of this mix on out on Riot Acres out there, where we've also been having some issues. They've given me paperwork saying that turned over to the city. I've looked it over, but Mr. McVeigh or Terry may have to look it over and give me a legal thing on it.
We're talking about Riot Acres?
Yes, this one is for Riot Acres, and I've also, they said they had work on Jackson Street, but I think we've worked the agreement out. They say their graders are too big to actually get around Riot Acres good because they've got new graders that are made for the long haul. So I told them we would continue grading it, and if they would occasionally give us some chat and stuff, put out there, and they said that'd probably be no problem. So I think we've got it worked out to where we can take care of it out there. And
You know, Riot Acres is part of it's in the city, and it's a long story, but it's existed for 30 years, where one lot might be in the city, one lot might be in the county, and so forth. So part of the road is, and it's whatever, it's like wherever the road fronts, or the property fronts. If the lot's in the county, then at least half of that road's county. They're not deeding streets. They're, you know, they deed, you know, property comes in or gets annexed in, and then if the city owns both sides of the property, like we do a lot of Ely Road, then that's the city street then. But out on Ely Road, there's a significant
Carl
chunk.
Ferris, yeah.
Yeah,
Is out.
that's not in the city. The city wraps around it. That part of the road is county, so.
But we've made a deal with them where we're gonna, I mean, we've graded it for years, so we're gonna keep grading it. And they're gonna hopefully help us out with getting stuff to put out there to keep on it. And they're gonna, like I said, put the stuff on South Jackson so we can build it up. And we're looking toward trying to get South Jackson overlaid pretty soon. It's one of the streets that is on there to be overlaid. I think we've got all of them inside the bypass done now, so we're looking to start going outside the bypass. And that'll be one of the ones we're gonna look at. We're gonna have to do a little bit of ditch digging out there to help the drainage, but it's, we'll be starting on that pretty soon also. Now a big topic, the flooding we had the other day. Yeah, you're right. We've had a lot of calls about that. Actually, we heard 4 and 1.13 inches and 6 inches, so I'm saying 5 inches plus or minus in an hour or less. There's really nothing that we could do about it. We were out, the drains were open, they were all flowing, taking water, but the ditches had water over the pipes. And when you've got water over the pipes in the big ditches, the laterals don't empty into them very well. I think within 30, 45 minutes after the rain stopped, most places had gone down. Within an hour, I'd say there might have been a few that backyards and stuff that don't have drains, they were still flooded, but everywhere had drain went down.
Wasn't the ditch on Starnes actually going backwards?
It was actually flowing backwards. At Starnes, it sure was. I looked and I thought that looked like it was going backwards, so I backed up and it was. I guess the water coming in from in town was pushing that. That's where it starts at, was actually flowing backwards. That being said, when we bought the vac truck, we had areas in town that were flooding that would stay flooded a long time after it rained. The vac truck helped that a lot. We used it real diligently the first year or two, and we took care of a lot of that. Now in a normal rain, those spots are starting to flood again. They're not staying flooded a day or a day and a half like they used to, but they are staying flooded for an hour or so after the rain. And we've actually had our camera in pipes that we have cleaned and seen that they're starting to build up with dirt and stuff again, debris. We really need to try to get another vac truck. I have contacted all the people we talked to the last time, and they're getting me numbers and stuff together for every option to finance, from financing to any way we might be able to get one. We're not looking at a real fancy truck, we're just looking at a basic truck that'll clean the drains with what we need to get the job done. So hopefully, like Mr. Palmer said, we're gonna have a meeting with the Stormwater Committee, and hopefully we'll be able to get some numbers together on that and maybe be able to try to get one. We are also fixing to start doing a lot of trimming in the town. Y'all might get some calls from some citizens that may not be happy because the trimming has not been done a lot due to other things we've been doing. So some of the trees have grown a lot and they're out there. So when we cut them, you're gonna notice it. They're gonna notice it, and they might give you a call. But if they do, you can tell them that everything we're doing is within city ordinance. we have a corner visibility, and we're gonna use it. It's 20 feet each direction, 3 foot tall, and we're fixing to get it back. We don't have manpower at the time to do yard work, so we can't make it look good. We've got to get it back to where we don't have to come and do it 2 or 3 times a year. We're looking at doing it once every year or two. So if you get any calls, that's what's going on. I mean, I will make it look as good as we can, and usually we'll try to maybe go not where we're supposed to go to make it look better. If we can go cut a few limbs we're up in their yard, we'll do that to try to make it look better so it doesn't look too bad. But I think other than that, that is all I got. Unless y'all have any questions for me. Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir. Good job.
Next on the agenda, we have approval of funds request for senior companions at the Oaks Nutrition Center. But the amount of funds requested was $125, and you need to do these individually.
Probably.
Okay. All right, for the senior sales tax grant annual application, the amount of funds requested is $125,000, and we need a motion. Motion. Second.
Second.
Second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Second one is Kennett Senior Citizen Sales Tax Grant. It's $5,000, and through Vicki Rue, Senior Companion Director. I actually think she's here tonight. And so we need a motion on that one.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mayor's report. We received a letter from Baker Wellman and Brown. I'd like to thank them for being instrumental in the insurance, Baker Wellman Brown Insurance and T.R. Baker Insurance agencies coming together to give the city employees their benefits. They like the idea of keeping Kennett dollars in Kennett, so do I. So it's with any transition, I mean, they've been working at it pretty hard and getting all that information out there. We talking with the flooding from Wednesday. You know, one of the things that south side of St. Francis, has been doing first. Yes, they will be going to the north side, and within 34 minutes of the rain stopping, the front of my property was dry. The biggest problem that I had, yes, whenever the two sides merged in the middle and were touching, the biggest problem I had was the community drivers. Whenever you're sitting there and you've got your four-wheel drive truck and you're driving down through there, it didn't get into my building, but it was hitting the door. And so any other business down through there, yeah, you're spraying water. So I need the citizens, when it's raining like that, please slow down. It's a safety hazard. When you get down there to Jackson, if you got a white Yukon that has to be towed out by Squires Towing because you went through there too quick, that's the reason why. A truck with a motor 4 foot off the ground shouldn't be flooding out. Now, if you got a car 6 inches off the ground, you're going to flood out just about anything. But you've got properties around there, so please, be cautious of whenever you're driving out through there, because those water, anybody that's ever been in a boat, boat can go way out there, and you're still going to feel the waves up by the bank. And, getting inside people's properties and things like that because you drove too fast down through there, it is a problem. So please, be cautious and watch and be concerned, because it's, you're damaging people's properties. One thing that, this seems to be a time for appointing new board members to different boards. We have several that will be coming up over the next few months that I'll be appointing to. So, talking with Mr. Jim Grieving, he gave us a couple websites to go to. Miss Brenda and Connie got together this morning and rewrote up a page that, I don't know who all wants to be on a committee. And we've got a lot of public out there that would like to sit on something, but they don't know how to do it. On the Kennett website here shortly, we're going to be able to have a page for you to go to. I'm asking all of the different committees that we have out there. You know, you get your airport, you got your park board, you got the housing authority I went to today. There's several different ones on there that we're going to be asking you, write a blurb, a 1-paragraph blurb of what does your committee do. And then we're also going to be able to get a picture of each one of the board members with when their term comes up. So that if you would like to, you're going to be able to either pull this form off, come up here, and just write down who you are, where you live, and why you would be a good fit for that board. And that way, whenever it comes up to it, you know, I may never think that, oh, well, John Doe here, he really, you know, he wants to be on here, and here's why. You know, I really like that. So it gives us a little bit more of a pool to look at who in the community wants to serve the community. And so we'll be looking forward to that, and that'll be up on the website here shortly. But if you, in the meantime, if you would like a form and you know of a committee that's coming up, and you know, come by City Hall and you know, fill one out and get it back to us, so that whenever I look, it's like, oh, Park Department needs a new person. We can go to the Park Department one and pull it out. So, but besides that, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, now we'll open things up to public comment. Oh.
You done got me already.
Look, I've been calling everybody. There's nobody to get rid of.
Mayor, council, thanks for having me here. Donald, you're the man. I apologize for the typo to start with, okay? It was a rush deal, and to start off with, as usual, it was spitting out the wrong information. It was what we put in, it spit out something else, and anyway. So we got a typo there, I apologize, because I am a Missourian, by the way. Okay, in May, if you can see, in May, you know, we just kind of start hitting at it and do a spot, you know, spot spraying, running traps, all that, keeping up with it. And as we get into June, it gets to be more and more. So come around the 4th, we spray with aircraft, of course, try to help us out. We've been spraying on a regular basis. We're going to be up in the game, it looks like now. This hurricane's got us a little bit. And so we're going to have hatch-offs. It's fixing to get down to it now. As usual, the anopheles, actually the counts are down a little bit compared to the past right now, which is a little bit of a blessing, but I expect that to change very quickly in the next 3 or 4 days. So we'll be battling at it. We more than likely have to bring in the aircraft again here pretty quick and just try to stay on top of it. For the 4th, we set us up a tent and stuff and handed out these very, very nice mosquito repellent wipes that work amazingly. People really appreciate that. We try to get our law officers and stuff, plenty of those, because they're out and about, you know, during the holiday quite a bit and have to be out of their vehicles and so on. Try to help them out. Anyway, let's answer some questions. Come on, man.
You know my question. I mean, I don't even have it anymore. I can't get rid of them. I've had Terminex that has the guarantee. I've had everybody up there. You know what?
You're not going to get rid of all of them. You can reduce them, but you can't get rid of them. You know, you can reduce them. They lay dormant for years and years and years. You're not going to get rid of them, but you can reduce them and make a better way of living.
What are these wipes you're referring to?
The little mosquito repellent wipes, we gave out a number of those little packets. Little mosquito wipes.
Are they child safe?
Yes, sir, absolutely. Yeah, they sure are.
Do you have any extra with you?
No, but I can get some over here. We brought a box. Gave us some. Sabrina sent over a box just a couple days ago.
Okay, Brenda, you took them all.
No, I didn't see them.
I think she may have gave it to some officers here somewhere.
may have ordered them a little bit, we'll get some more.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got,
Guy with the guns.
they're really nice,
Yeah,
they're
that
safe,
sounds
and they don't bother your skin or anything. You can actually, a couple fish can use them, you know. Get to a man's spouse or whatever, it wouldn't be a problem, but plenty there to use.
I got a
And
question.
very safe, like I say, you use them on your children and everything, you don't have to worry about it. And it works very good. Now, you'll still hear them around you, but they don't bite you.
They make them like big sheets, so you just wrap them around you.
So much time together, you can
So much.
Tim, what's the most effective speed of that truck?
Okay,
To
I'm
spray? I
glad you
think
brought
I've
that
asked
up.
it. Yeah, I've got.
Okay, our trucks are set up to go from 5 to 20 miles per hour. As long as the speed limit is 20 miles per hour. So the way it works is, so at below 5 mile per hour, it'll kick off, it won't spray anything. So if they pull up the stop sign, it'll kick off, it's not gonna spray that car pulled up right behind them.
Okay.
So ideally in my eyes, and I'll argue about this quite a bit, I want them to go somewhere around 13, 15 mile an hour. On a lot of streets, that's as fast as you can go. And in certain situations too, you gotta use good judgment. So we try to teach all of our technicians to do this, but the unit is set to where it puts out the right droplet size to attach to the mosquito and kill it. In addition, if it's going 13 mile an hour, or if it's going 20 mile per hour, it puts out the amount of chemical it needs to.
So it fluctuates.
5 ounces a minute or whatever it may be, we got it set at, yes. It'll fluctuate. So that ideally we want it to drift 300 feet in one direction. You know, you're gonna be using the wind, ideally it'd be every direction, but if you're gonna use the wind, it's gonna drift 300 feet to kill the mosquitoes. So as we're driving the streets, you know, if we don't necessarily get up around your house, as long as we got the wind coming across there, then we're gonna be effective. It helps it get through the right particles, there's a number of things there, it helps it drift through the foliage and things of that nature. Now if the foliage is thick enough in the area, you know, you still gotta get it off in there, okay? So sometimes it's a little bit of a battle to try to keep the wind in your favor and do all that, but that's subjective.
So if they go over 20 mile an hour, does it cut off?
It does, an alarm sounds, it's very annoying.
Okay, so they gotta slow down.
Yep. And it'll show us on the deal, and we look at that, we have to, what happens is we download this information daily, and it goes off to a GIS person that will download it, and we can have her send back maps of it and tell us, you know, if that alarm went off 15 times because they're going over 20 mile per hour, then we, for instance, if you call and you say, hey, that truck was going way too fast down my street, then that's signals us, you know, we better look at this real quick and see if that's what's going on, if they're going too fast. And sometimes you get new drivers that do that. Me, if I was driving the other night, I got to get fussed at because I was going 10. You know, I was going slow, but
You can do that. So but it does, the spray stops if they go 20
yes.
mile an hour.
Yep, it does. It sure does. It'll shut off, and then there's a
I
loud
just didn't know
alarm.
that, because I've had people send me videos on messages. And I just
18
wanna make
mile,
sure.
18, 19 mile per hour. And like I say, if they're going 20 or something, if they send these videos, we need to know about that.
Right.
We need to look into it.
Well, that's the reason I
Okay.
kept asking about the mist. If the mist is coming out, they're going.
Right, then it's 20 or below.
Okay. I just want to be able to tell my.
And it looks fast, I mean,
I was gonna say-
it'll look fast going down the street.
Yeah,
20 mile an hour in a neighborhood, some people think people's flying.
I
but
get it. I
really
just
they're
wanted to
not.
clarify
Right.
that.
Right.
If
If you look at the fog
it's
too,
fast.
you know, the fog will tell you to tell how it's drifting and gathering up, because you'll have a decent sized fog coming out of it, and you'll be able to watch it, you know, as it goes, so.
How different do you find the effectiveness of driving versus the airplane?
Airplane does a better job.
How often do we fly?
Well, we get into it here pretty soon, it's about every 2 weeks.
Right here,
That's
looks
what
like
we
you got a
did
bunch.
last year. We 8 times, I want to tell you. I have to look back on that, but we started a couple years ago adding to our flying. And after this point here, usually we pick it up, we'll run, you know, every couple, 3 weeks, depending on, you know, the mosquito count. Sometimes we had to run a couple times during the same week, you know, every, 3 or 4 days there for a little bit. And just kind of watch it as the mosquito counts, you know, we're running trap.
and see what's taking. And we have to pay attention, so if we see a storm coming in, and it's gonna be kicking them up out of the southwest, bringing them, blowing them in here with a 25, 30 mile an hour wind or a 50 mile an hour wind we get nowadays, it's gonna cover us up with mosquitoes, and it's kind of, we try to anticipate ahead, and sometimes the weather is a little bit difficult to maneuver around, so we have to do it as weather permitting, because we've been wanting to bring an airplane in before, and couldn't even get the pilot here. You know, it's just, you know how the storms just pop up off and on. So, anyway, and ideally, I don't want to bring them in here. I'd rather wait 4 or 5 days and fly when we got like a 10 mile an hour wind and bring them in here. And that airplane can go out here and spray 6 miles out here to get this target. Sure. Okay, it's got the stuff in it, you know, the GPS systems, everything. It can tell it to go out here and the wind's at so many knots or whatever, and put that chemical right here. But that presents a problem too, because people want to see that airplane. When you're running that kind of money across the city and stuff, everybody wants to see it. And there is still, in my eyes, there's still some variables there, because if you've got some wind that's not complete directional, then I still think it can change.
How low is it fly?
300 feet is ideal.
Pretty low, really? How many?
That's pretty low.
Anytime you can see the pilot in there.
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it several times.
I've seen a stunt plane at the airport.
So, and I've been in there myself several times doing that, and it's fun for a little bit, and then it's old.
Flying back and forth to the sky kiddos.
Yeah, you dodging towers, which we're not, we're pretty fortunate here. They haven't said, I mean, they got the technology, because I forget what year it was, we had the 4 hurricanes across Florida, we lost our chief pilot and his observer, which was supposed to have been me. I was a little bit blessed by not being in that plane that night.
So how do we
He wasn't.
how do we get to more frequent flying?
Pavement.
Well, yeah, we have and it's really none of my business. I work with Brenda on it, and we've been working on it for 3 years maybe, I don't know. We have a little bit left over, so we started using it to get, you know, and try to keep a little left over at the end to start the next season. It's kind of the way we were doing it. Try to utilize that airplane the best we can, instead of using up all the money, maybe we'll extra start the next season, just keep it there so we got the extra flying. That's what we're doing.
Just out of curiosity, what does it cost to run the plane on the city?
Well, I don't remember exactly, but I think it's $6,000 or $7,000. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I think that's right. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, maybe even a little north of that.
Okay, I can't remember. I didn't look at it. I hadn't looked at it in a couple of years. We used to take care of business. You know, there was, I don't know if it's that though, because
Once upon a time, I thought it was like almost 10. Like at the very beginning, because we was only supposed to get 4 sprays.
I'll find out.
At the very beginning.
I'll look into that again, but I don't know. I had worked with them on that price though, and told them, look, we're going to do this, whatever, let's drop it. I kind of, this is my city.
So when we sign a new contract, does it say how often?
Well, it kind of, yes, it does, but we add this other on, so we spray, around 4 times with the airplane, if needed, and it's always needed.
Yeah,
And
so
that's
we
what
don't
it
we
says.
don't have to say that.
Then
We have
after
a little
that,
money left over every year, we add to it and get an extra
Right,
sprays.
Yeah.
right, but at least 4 is what you're saying.
oh, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. We'll definitely get that 4.
I think we need to have it.
Yeah, he keeps up with things and stuff.
Outside of that.
Any more questions?
Well, I appreciate everything y'all do.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I just wonder sometimes how bad mosquitoes would be if we didn't
Exactly.
spray.
Hey, well, let me give you,
Yeah,
for
that'd
instance,
be
let me
worse.
tell you this, just to get you to think about it. And it's
Right.
hard, after 2 or 3 years, it's hard to remember back when. But like when I come into Blytheville, Arkansas, when I came into Kennett, you got a quarter of the mosquitoes you used to have. For instance, the trap count was at 3,500, goes to 200, high counts are 5, and sometimes 700. So it gives you kind of an idea. Still a lot of mosquitoes, but not near the mosquitoes, because I was choking trying to run a trap
and they was literally flying down my throat and stuff.
Was
I
that
remember
my
this
house?
so well. And, you know, but you still got mosquitoes. And, you know, keep in mind, we don't just do, we're all about reducing the mosquito population, okay? Anopheles is your predominant species, but we're also keeping up and doing regular testing on diseases. We have a ramp machine that they test weekly with the traps. We catch Culex mosquitoes, whatever, and make sure we don't have West Nile or chikungunya or something about to come about. We've been really fortunate here in Kennet. We caught some Culex mosquitoes, but there's been 4 or 5 times in Blytheville that we had West Nile. We tested them positive for West Nile, and you know, one particular time there was a 90-year-old woman lived right there in a child care facility right there by at the old Price Chopper building up there. They could have got serious, you know. So these kind of things, and this is where I like for the public to keep us up. So if there's a sewage leak or any kind of thing like that, it could be stuff under your house or a sewage leak in the ditch or just stagnant water catching because the culvert stopped up, different things like that, we need to know so we can immediately treat it and stay on top of it, you know, to try to, you know, make sure we don't end up with some kind of problem, disease or something. There's people sick or they're running around, feel like they got the flu and had it for 4 weeks and they got West Nile. Don't realize what's going on.
Thank you.
Well, you're more than welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you much. And the number's in all those reports, so if you need to call me, call me.
It's not a typo?
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Tim. Thank you,
You have a
sir.
great day.
Thanks.
Any other public?
Sir, I'm George Archer, and I live out in Radler Edition off of Star Street. I came up to check on the situation on getting our streets asphalted, instead of gravel streets. I was in a planning commission back in 2017. They pretty well assured me then, it was sometime in 2019, could get it, you know. And I was wondering if that's changed, or is that still on, or do we know?
What
You know,
street?
Bill?
What street you live on?
I live on Ray Dina.
Ray Dina?
Yeah, we got Gladys, you know, and Linford Street.
The plan was to start at the center of the city,
Yes.
work our way out, and 10% of the money is going for,
For that?
yeah, for that. And so it's,
It won't be this year because we've already done this year, but it
Yeah.
could be next year.
It's certainly possible.
Yeah.
We're concentrating on making sure that your roads get, that the grader comes down the road once a month right now.
Yeah, well, that
And then
couldn't
trying to get the extra chat put out there, and then after we get that done, hopefully, within the next 2 years, we can be out there paving it.
Well, I've got a couple of tile out there that needs to be replaced. They've been there so long, you know, that they're deteriorated and stuff, and especially before they do
Yeah,
that.
that's another thing we'll be looking at is getting all that done before we put the blacktop down, so we don't have to come back
Tear
after we
that
put the
up.
asphalt down and tear it up. Yeah,
Right.
like Bill said, we are in the process of building the roads up for the drainage to make sure they'll drain properly and everything, but Ray Dina is coming up.
Okay.
We've got everything inside the bypass right now.
Okay,
So now we're moving out on the outside of the bypass,
sounds good.
South Jackson we're looking at, and then your addition over there, and it could happen next year possibly. I mean, don't hold me to it,
Yeah.
but it'll be,
Hopefully it might.
yeah, because we'll do a little bit out around South Jackson and then somewhere in that area.
Okay,
And it might be that we, have to start at Willoughby and maybe Willoughby and Winford, and then the next year we may try to do the other ones, but
okay.
you're being in the middle, we probably won't start in the middle.
Start.
Kind of start at one side and work out, but a lot will be dependent on the money
Right,
and how much we've got to asphalt.
yeah. What's
I
that?
mean, if the money was there, it'd be nice to do all that addition, but
Yeah,
it just, a lot depends on the tax dollars.
yeah, how it comes in and
Yeah,
everything,
so,
yeah.
yeah, we'll just have to kind of wait and see thing, but it's already been booked for this year, so.
Yeah, so you want to check on those
Finish it up.
tiles there, make sure,
Which ones are they?
It's right there at,
On Radina?
Radina
Yeah.
and the corner of Gladys and Radina.
Yes, sir, I know where you're talking about.
And then the other one is up on the corner of Gladys and Winford. They're the only two
Yes,
I
sir.
know that goes all the way across the
Yes.
streets.
Yeah, I know where you're talking about.
All right.
We'll look at them.
All
Sure
right.
will.
There's one other thing I want to bring up on the south side of Winford Street. Now, this is like a property maintenance deal, but boy, that has grown up terribly, and there's 4 or 5 lots down through there, you know, and talking bushes 15, 20 foot tall, you know, and it's just, they're just not doing anything to it.
I think he's making a note on it right now.
Okay.
I'll check into
We
it.
appreciate if they, you know.
And then
get
you
some-
have a fella in your neighborhood that comes and pays me a visit about once every 3 weeks to remind me that y'all are out there.
Okay, we're still there. That's what I want to make sure, that
Shows
you
up
knew
at my
we were still
clinic
out
every week,
there.
yeah.
We were still in the city, you know. Yeah.
That's why you're on the monthly route right now, is because he's paid.
All right, appreciate it. Okay, all right. Thank everybody very much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, we'll check into that.
All right, thanks a lot.
Anybody else?
Anybody else? Going once?
There's one thing I would like to add, and this is mainly for the council. We discussed it here at the last council about ATV, UTVs. By next city council, you would write up what you want to see in that ordinance. So we can have an open discussion with it, and then get that information to Terry.
I sent out an email yesterday to everybody asking.
Hey, you know, we're like,
There you go.
what?
Can't respond to it.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
You got my new email?
We're supposed to talk about it tonight, and it's gonna be an ordinance first of all, August, right?
Right. Okay, well, I missed that email then. So I'm behind. So,
You got a new email?
Was he in there?
Mayor at City.
Nope, that wasn't the email.
Okay. So, all right, I'm behind. So would y'all like
But I
to?
sent that email out yesterday.
Okay. So did anybody bring,
Yeah, you're in there.
okay,
Keith's the only one that responded on it about
So
the,
far, I mean, that was just yesterday.
It's
Yeah, he
about
sent it again.
motorized bicycle or something.
Yeah.
Do they still have those?
if we're gonna do
yeah,
that.
there's one gentleman around here who's got a little,
Mhm.
Yes.
Motorized bicycles covers anything, the way
49cc?
the way I read it, it was off the Missouri Highway Patrol website, and so it covers any kind of 2-wheel or 3-wheel propelled with a motor vehicle. So that is not, you know, the classic motorized bicycle, you know,
Yeah,
that
that's
you
fine.
think of. So it would cover scooters, segways, all types of.
Yeah, I know, I want to say.
Yeah, or we have ordinance that do mention motorized bicycles, but they don't mention it very much. They need to be updated.
So the main points is 16 years old, liability, right? Insurance.
Some of those things are state laws already.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing out the main points for licensed drivers. And a city sticker. And what is the price gonna be on that sticker? And it's per unit on the road, not one sticker for 5 vehicles, right?
It's
gonna be just like a license plate.
We don't have to stick it,
we
there's
can
no fee
make
for
them
one.
for,
Well, there is gonna be for this.
yeah, for this year, it's, I would like to see a city sticker being made.
They'll have to.
But that way you bring it in, you bring in your serial numbers of the, whatever you're licensing for this, you bring in the proof of insurance on it, and then pay, say, a $50 city sticker, and then you can use it for 1 year.
And you can use it on the street?
No, there is no requirement for these city stickers, and the price, we'll have to figure out what it's going to cost to issue them. Since to do $50, it's probably a little bit, I would probably have to have an election to charge that much. So we'll just have to figure what it costs to issue the city sticker.
Trying to pave some streets here.
Yeah,
sounded
good.
Body cameras, a few vests,
One of the things I saw just yesterday was a gentleman on a lawnmower, riding lawnmower.
I was gonna say a Husqvarna.
He came by City Hall, and we were behind him in my vehicle. He moved over far enough that we could get around him, and then made a stop, and then, I don't know, 15 minutes later, we were going out First Street, and he was out by Walmart. He was on the sidewalk on First Street at least.
Was it Russell?
no.
I don't know.
He drives the Husqvarna.
I think, Rector has their sticker is like 25.
So we're gonna do UTVs and golf carts. Why not ATVs as well?
That's all. Anything motorized and
I
wheeled.
mean, I just thought there was a reason.
Yeah, so whether it's a golf cart or a 49cc scooter or lawnmower.
We can do all
Boy, let's keep lawnmowers out of this. And trailers where they're hauling their families and all that. Let's just keep it all out.
But let's start thinking about that.
Yeah, it's, I know I personally, I've seen at least 2 accidents involving a little scooter, a 49cc scooter. So I know, have no idea how many the police department has actually worked. But, there was one in front of Walmart one day, and then one there at the old Radio Shack, one day. I know there was officers in both of them. And this was, a few years, but, it's been within the last couple of years. But it's still, it's a safety issue for here, but you're also looking at other cities around the area. I know whenever I go up to Eminence, I can ride my 4-wheeler because I paid the sticker up there, and I can ride it all over the place.
One of the things that people are finding in urban areas is rental scooters. And I don't foresee that, being overwhelmed with that anytime soon, but
birds.
Could come.
You're talking about the ones that just stand on?
The
bird.
The bird.
I think most of those have been.
I don't think
operated
birds
on
come to Canton.
sidewalk.
No, there is. We're in the streets, we're in they're all over.
Yeah, I'm all for it, ready to go.
No, not First Street.
It's about to go.
So are there any other requirements people are wanting to see?
That sounds good to me.
What about, the police department gets behind the golf cart and stops them and checks them, and the person's 14 years old, there's no sticker. What type of penalties are going to be?
I think that would be up to Judge Mallard.
Well, state law saying.
Yeah, well,
It's a violation of city ordinance, isn't it?
yeah, all the way around the golf cart.
On the utility vehicles, you're gonna require seatbelt use. A lot of those are equipped with them. That's just-
If it's equipped.
I mean, on the mopeds and stuff, I understand they're gonna have those, but on a utility vehicle, I would almost require it.
What about a golf cart?
Not equipped with them.
My double row one had them in the back. It was added on.
Well, fancy
That's
golf
gonna be up to you
regular.
guys here.
ATV didn't have,
Right.
School lessons don't have.
There you go.
Enough said.
well,
Safety of our children is
give,
Yeah.
give me what all you want, Ed, and I'll come up with what we got.
There we go.
I don't do that.
Just listen. All right. So with that being said, then we need to adjourn and go into a closed session. So I need
Motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Quick.
I want to make it quick.
Oh, we have to have a roll call.
Yes. Everybody say yes.
I'm frozen.